In this video, we're going to be talking about exactly what it takes to go full-time as an Amazon seller. So if you clicked on this video, there's a good chance that you either don't like your job very much or just want to buy yourself that freedom by having a business of your own. And I will also say that I would never be the guru to say to go out and quit your job tomorrow for Amazon. And so with this video, I want to give you a realistic expectation for what it's actually going to take for you to quit your job and become a full-time Amazon seller. But if you're brand new to the channel, my name's Warner Fields from Fields of Profit. I'm a full-time 7-figure Amazon seller. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the exact financials that are going to be required for you to go to full-time, as well as showing you a little bit on how to source the inventory you're going to be able to buy and sell to actually go full-time. Before we do that, if you want even more free resources to learn how to sell on Amazon, just give me a link directly beneath me for our completely free Amazon seller Discord community. There's over 40,000 people in there sharing a ton of free information about selling on Amazon. Would love to see you in there, but let's go ahead and jump into the video. So let's go ahead and jump into the financial side of what it's actually going to take to go full time. This is just a spreadsheet that I built for the FBA roadmap community. We'll just kind of be breaking it down here in terms of what you're actually going to need to have to be able to make the money that you need. So obviously it's going to be up to you in terms of how much profit you need in order to justify quitting your job. If you're working at a grocery store, obviously that's going to be a lot easier to quit compared to the W-2 health insurance, especially if you've got kids at home. All that kind of stuff is super, super important to think about. But a really good way that I like to kind of forecast my future growth, really understanding what it's going to take to meet my new goals. I'll use this calculator here. So we could just go ahead and plug in some sample data here. So let's say so far you've sold $1,000 on Amazon and you spent $500 to do so. That's a pretty standard breakdown. Usually about half of your revenue is going to be your cost of goods sold. If you are below that, then great job. If you're a little bit above that, you should probably fine tune your systems a little bit, but we can use this number to kind of reverse engineer how much we'd actually need to spend to hit a new revenue goal. So in this case, if this is our current stats and we want to sell $5,000 a month on Amazon, then this tells me that I'd have to spend $2,500, which breaks down to about $83 a day. So hopefully when I say it like that, it sounds a little bit less overwhelming to kind of reach the goals you're looking for. Obviously, if you're wanting to go full-time on Amazon, doing $5,000 a month in revenue is not going to cut it. So over here on the profit goal setter, we could do something similar. Let's go ahead and make these numbers a little bigger just for the sake of realism here. Hopefully no one's out there quitting your job if you've done $1,000 in revenue, but let's say you've done 100,000 year to date. Your buy cost on that was $50,000. And then your profit on that $100,000 was $20,000. That would be a pretty decent profit margins, especially if that's after all your costs, all your software, all your team expenses, all that kind of stuff. 20% would be a pretty decent goal to reach for. And so when you're looking at it that way, that makes the account historical return on investment about 40% because we spent $50,000 to make $20,000 in profit. And so now we can use this number kind of based on the past, assuming you're going to be scaling with the same methods that you used to get these first $100,000 a month in sales. We can use that number to kind of reverse engineer how much we'd actually need to be able to spend to kind of replace that income. So let's say you're working a decent desk job where you're making $5,000 a month, something like that, to replace the income on that job completely based on the fact that you're running a 50% cost of goods sold as revenue. That would put you at needing to spend about $416 a day or $12,500 a month. And so this is the part where we're probably getting to those numbers that feel a little bit scary, especially if you're a brand new seller where you're like, man, there's no way I'm ever gonna be able to spend $12,500 a month. I promise you, as you start scaling your business, really practicing what you're doing, it's really not gonna be super, super difficult at all. But obviously that's gonna be multiple months down the line, lots of time, lots of practice from now. But I've also seen people come in and literally do $20,000 in revenue in their first month. So clearly it's very up to you in terms of how much time you can dedicate. If you've ever done e-commerce before, anything like that, that's all going to kind of contribute to how fast you're able to understand Amazon. And within that, I also want to add another caveat where, okay, so let's say I'm spending $12,500 a month. Everything's going great. I'm making 40% ROI. I'm making that $5,000 a month in profit. But the next thing you need to make sure you're thinking about is the fact that if you're pulling all those $5,000 a month in profit, the business isn't going to grow, right? So at some point in your business, you are going to definitely start pulling profit for yourself, but especially as you're starting, and I assume pretty much everyone watching this video wants to grow their Amazon business, you're going to have to use some of that profit that the business is generating to buy new inventory. And so the reason I bring that up is because if you're watching this video looking to completely replace your income, live off of selling on Amazon, you obviously are going to have to set your goalpost a little bit higher in this case. If you want to make that $5,000 a month in profit and continue to grow your business, then that's going to continue to bump up your goals, right? So let's say you want to be able to pull $5,000 a month in profit from your business, you'd probably want to be making at least $8,000 to $10,000 a month in profit. And with that in mind, it's also important to remember that every dollar you pull out of your business in profit limits the growth, right? So you're gonna have to kind of find that balancing act between how fast do I want my business to grow and how fast do I want to be able to quit my job and all that kind of stuff. So if we're kind of keeping that in mind, maybe it's not a bad rule of thumb to kind of only be pulling at absolute most half of what the company is making. I don't pull anywhere near that from my own company, but we could go ahead and plug in $10,000 a month. So then you can see we'd have to be spending $25,000 a month on product. And so here in just a second, second, I'll show you how I personally would go out and start sourcing that $25,000 a month in profit. But I also want to quickly mention one other thing, and that's the fact that your business decisions are not going to be 100% correct, right? If you go out and you spend $25,000 a month, that's great, but you're probably not going to see every single one of those products sell for the exact ROI that you found. And you're also going to be looking at returns and all that kind of stuff. So this number right here, this $25,000 number, this is like the perfect number in a vacuum where you buy the inventory, you sell it all within the next month, and then you kind of reinvest it all. Unfortunately, that's not the reality that you're going to live in on Amazon. As you grow your Amazon business, you're obviously going to get way more comfortable with the idea of spending more money. And so as you're growing your business, kind of setting the expectation of going full-time, I want to be completely realistic with you guys that if you spend $25,000 a month, even if the account historical ROI is 40%, you're probably still not going to hit that $10,000 a month goal, just because things are going to end up selling a little bit slower than you wanted them to. Other items, there may be some issues with, maybe you buy the item, you get the wrong thing, you have to eat a little bit of cost. There's just going to be those little things that add up. So I don't want to set an unrealistic expectation that, every month I spend $25,000, I'm going to make $10,000 a month in profit, reinvest it really, really quick. It is possible to do that on Amazon, but it's going to be very, very difficult. And especially if you are kind of watching this video, you're probably more intermediate type seller. I don't want to set the unrealistic expectation that every single dollar you spend is going to go exactly to plan. And so now that you have that goal set for yourself in terms of how much you actually need to spend on product, obviously if that's your goal to make $10,000 a month in profit to kind of replace your job plus a little bit to reinvest, that's going to be a decent hurdle to overcome and definitely a goal to reach for. I don't know about you guys at home, but I definitely wasn't able to just go out and start spending $25,000 a month on product right away, especially just kind of I didn't have the knowledge to do it, right? So let's go ahead and kind of show you my process for how I would start sourcing these items. So I went ahead and picked out this particular Lego item. And so the reason that I picked this set right here is that it's being sold on Amazon, and we can see down here on the Keepa chart, this tool is like less than 20 bucks a month. SellerAmp over here is also less than 20 bucks. I would highly recommend you have both of these tools if you are serious about selling on Amazon. And when we're looking at this item here, we can see that Amazon is not on the listing. So if we zoom out, we can probably see in the past where you see that orange bars right there, it shows me Amazon's on the listing. Right now, the thick orange bars, back here in the past, we had this, these orange here. Now we just have, triangles, and we can also see down here that the new offer count is actually like 200 sellers. There's a ton of sellers on this item, but that's actually not a bad thing for what we're doing. This particular item, probably not super interesting to sell. There's 200 sellers on it. It's going to be pretty difficult to actually make a profit on something like this, but we can use this information to try to identify products that might be a little bit less saturated, because there's going to be guys like you and I on this listing. It's not being sold by Amazon, not being sold by Lego. So that means everyone else who's on this listing is either a wholesaler or they're doing arbitrage, where they're just buying it from everyday websites, similar to what we're doing here. And so from here, we can start looking at these storefronts, and I'm looking for a storefront like this one, where they have, maybe 100 feedback, maybe a little bit less. That's going to put them in the caliber of seller where they're probably sourcing a lot of stuff from arbitrage stores. So they'd be buying an item like this from Walmart, Lego.com, Target, anything like that. And so once I do that, SellerAmp is going to load up all of the products that this seller is selling. And so from here, I can get a lot more data based on what I'm looking for. So a couple things that I look out for on these items is the max cost option. So this is saying, hey, if you want to sell this item profitably, in this case, a 35% ROI and $3 profit, you need to be able to buy this item for that price. So I need to buy it for $33.20. Over here, it's telling me that Walmart's selling this item for 64 bucks. So based on that, I'm not super confident that I'd be able to buy it somewhere else for half the price that Walmart is charging. So I'd probably skip over something like that. Same deal here, right? This Lego set, we'd have to buy it for $4.50. There's no way we're ever going to buy this Lego set for $4.50. Same deal here, 38 cents. Looks like a lot of these listings, Amazon is actually on the listing. So that would be something that I would immediately skip over, just because I don't compete with Amazon. Amazon's going to hog an artificially high number of sales on listings. So I'd definitely skip that kind of stuff. And so over here, this would be, maybe we look into something like this, but I don't love this item for this reason. 251 other competitive sellers on there. It's going to be really, really difficult to make a profit on an item in a 4,000 sales rank. So it sells pretty quick, but it would need to be like, top 10 toy to actually be making profit with 250 sellers on it. So I'd go ahead and start looking through here. Looks like this particular seller's on a whole bunch of like Christmas themed toys. Makes sense filming this kind of right before Christmas. So I'm still would just be skipping over all these Amazon stores here. There's that same item we came from. So if you ever do find one of these items where it seems like you might be interested in selling it, at this point, when I'm looking at this storefront, I would probably kind of click away. They've got a lot of Amazon stuff. I'm not seeing a lot of items that I'd be super interested in, but here's the item we came from. So let's say we do have a hunch that we can buy this item for $10.59 or less. You could just go ahead and click the Google button here, and that's going to pull up the search results for that title within Google. And now we can try to see, is my theory correct? Can I buy this item for less than 10 bucks? So Walmart right there is at 23 bucks. Looks like Lego.com is charging 15 bucks. Again, we're looking for $10. Target's charging $13.50. And so as you're looking for these products that you are interested in selling, so like I said, I would probably jump out of this storefront storefront, really what you're looking for is just a bunch of storefronts that don't have a ton of feedback, you know, maybe a couple hundred at most. And those are going to be the guys who are buying a lot of, you know, beginner friendly items where we can go and try to figure out where they're buying it from. So this seller has literally one feedback. So there's going to be some other opportunities in their storefront where it might be easier to find the items compared to those storefronts that have hundreds and hundreds of reviews, where they have a lot of experience, or, you know, guys like this that have 770 of these in stock. That would be something to avoid. These people clearly know what they're doing. Definitely not really someone you'd want to compete with as a brand new Amazon seller, you know, comparing that to someone like this where they only have 8 feedback. They've actually got 108 in stock. So maybe this person kind of knows what they're doing, hasn't been in the game for a while. Could be interesting to look through their storefront as well. So for the sake of your time, we'll go ahead and wrap up. If you are interested in seeing my kind of exact sourcing process, some higher power sourcing strategies that I can't put on YouTube, myself and my friend Miles, who sold over $2 million on Amazon this year, we partnered up to make a step-by-step guide for you to kind of follow, especially if you're looking to go full-time. It's not a bad idea to kind of expedite that learning process. So we made a step-by-step video course with over 12 hours of content, private Discord community, weekly Zoom calls with you guys. So if you are looking to seriously scale your business, kind of go full-time, I would highly recommend you go and check that out down in the link below. 2-week money-back guarantee if you don't like it for any reason. But I hope you guys did get a ton of value out of this video today. If you did, please feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps me out for sharing some value with you guys. If you guys do have any questions, comments, anything like that, I'm always happy to answer those down below in the comments section. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will see you next time.